Hi everyone and welcome to chapel on a beautiful Friday afternoon. With only a few weeks left in the term, I encourage you to get outside, spend some time with your friends, and overall just enjoy your weekend. We have 7 seniors speaking today, and we'll begin with Nicole and end with Megan. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Nicole Boutry. I'm a 3-year senior from Greenwich, Connecticut. For my entire life, my parents have told me blood is thicker than water. And I always used to roll my eyes when they told me this. They would always say it to me right after my siblings and I had gotten in an argument about something in the long run was meaningless, but to us, in the moment, it was everything. They would always talk to us individually after every argument, and they would say to me, Nicole, you need to understand that those 3 people are going to be there for you through everything. Through the good, bad, and the ugly. I know this means nothing to you now, but they're not going to remember this argument in a week. So don't push away the people that are there for you and only want to see you succeed. Friends will come and go, but Drew, Scott, and Kate will always be there for you. From a very young age, my parents have instilled in me, me and my siblings, the importance of family. For the past 2 years, my brother and I have attended boarding school, which left our 2 younger siblings at home. This has only strengthened my relationship with Drew. However, the distance between me and my other siblings has led us further apart. But in the heat of the pandemic, I found my entire family under the same roof again. And I have come to appreciate the time we spent together. For 75 consecutive days, all 6 of my family members had family dinner at our dinner table, or for the Sunday night exception, where we sat in the living room and watched movies together. Every night led to something new in our household, whether it was my 10-year-old sister doing TikTok dances throughout the entire meal, or it was my dad bringing up a topic in the news, leading to a discussion. It seemed I never left the dinner table without laughing so hard that I couldn't breathe. Like every teenager, no doubt, experienced, quarantine wasn't all warm and fuzzy. We all had our low moments and arguments with our parents. But now that my 2 brothers and I are at boarding school, and my sister is home alone with my parents, I miss my family dinners and can't wait to see them in 2 weeks. I'm not saying at all that I want to be back in quarantine, but I've learned so much about my brothers and sister during this time that I honestly didn't want to come back to school. I love Suffield so much, and I'm so happy to be here, but the time spent with my family is honestly unforgettable. This idea of family and community has stuck with me across the last several months when looking at boarding school and now at college. I know what I want because I have it here at Suffield. I knew the day I visited Suffield that this was the place for me, and I want a school where I feel like I can walk around campus and feel like I'm truly at home. I know that my siblings will be there for me through everything, and in a similar vein, I know for sure that I've made lasting friendships here that will last me a lifetime. This combination of blessings from home and Suffield has given me a great start in life and will always be treasured. Thank you.
Alright, I'm ready. Hi Suffield, my name is Erin Yockham and I am a 2-year senior from Westfield, Mass. Family has always been super important to me. I'm certain it is for almost everyone, but my family is different. When I was 9 years old, my parents split. My dad wasn't a good man to us or the people around him, and it became too much. Ever since their divorce, it's just been my mom, my grandma, and I. Going through therapist after therapist and dealing with heavy anxiety and PTSD at 9 years old was not at all what I pictured myself being at that age. I wanted to play at the park, swim in my friends' pools, and just be a kid. But I needed to mature earlier on in life than I expected. Though I was deeply affected, I knew my mom went through so much more. I couldn't even imagine how she was feeling, what was going on inside her head. To this day, I still can't. But I did know that she needed someone to be her rock, and I knew that person was me. I felt that I needed to mature for her so she didn't have to worry about me as much. to show her I could handle whatever life threw at me next. My grandma was a role model for my mom and I. She battled breast cancer twice, she lost a finger, she lost her sister at age 7, and she lost the love of her life when she was 50. My grandma lost people who meant the world to her and endured many obstacles. Despite her own losses and challenges, she always supported us, and she was always there to pick up any broken pieces that needed to be built back together. On July 3rd at 6:56 p.m., I sat by her side as she took her last breath, ending her battle with stage 4 cancer. I had been out with my friends at the mall all day, and one of them had just dropped me off at her house to see her. This was the last thing I expected to happen on that day. Her nurse said that even though she was asleep, she could hear me. So I took out all of the clothes I had just bought and described them to her. Just after 20 minutes of being with her, I lost my best friend, my rock. My heart sank. I couldn't breathe. I felt like everything was closing in on me. But the nurse told me something that night that I will never forget, and that I still hold with me today. She told me that she was waiting for me. I was the only person she hadn't seen yet that day, and she chose my mom and I to be by her side when she took her last breath. The nurse's words will be with me forever, as will my grandma. I know that she watches over me every day and is with me every step I take. Though I wish I could see her and hug her one last time, I know she is much happier where she is now. Every lesson that I've learned in life, every mistake I had to learn from, every obstacle I had to overcome, and everything I learned from all of it was from my mother and my grandma. They have taught me how to be kind, how to be a good judge of character, how to be responsible, honest, and overall, how to be a good person. These women have always played important roles in my life. Although my grandma is no longer present beside me, in a way she is, and continuing to watch me grow every day. I don't think I would have been able to mature at the age I did without them by my side to teach me what I know today. I am forever grateful for having the mom and grandma that I have. Mom, thank you. You are such an amazing mom and friend. You have moved many mountains for me. I am so proud of what you've accomplished in life while balancing being a single mom. You mean the world to me. Thank you. Grandma, there is still so much I want to say. You mean so much to me. I know you're looking down on me and cheering me on every day. I miss you so much. You lit up a room with your smile, and you always knew how to make me happy. Thank you for your never-ending support. There aren't enough thank yous in the world that I could give to both of you, but thank you. Thank you for everything you two have done for me over these past years. You have been with me ever since I was born, and I'm so, so incredibly thankful for both of you. Thank you.
Where are you actually from? I've been asked this question dozens of times throughout my life. I'm from Vermont, I say. The questioner nods, still puzzled. Where are your parents from, Mom? I say, my dad is German and my mom is Polish. Oh, so you're half Asian? No, actually, I'm adopted from China. Hi, Suffield. My name is Sally Luby, and I'm a 2-year senior from Vermont. I grew up in a small ski town in Vermont, and as a Vermonter, I learned to confidently ski down slopes, hike the Green Mountains, and make maple syrup and enjoy the outdoors. While I match most demographics in this state, I fail to meet the status quo because Vermont is predominantly white. Regardless, Vermont is where I feel my roots are, despite being one of few Asians. In the elementary school nearby, kids would ask why I looked different from my parents and wondered if I was African American because of my darker skin. After repeating these confusing questions, my parents always answered the same way. I was adopted from China, and I should not worry about what other kids thought. Since I was still young, this satisfied me. When I was 10, my family moved to Frankfurt, Germany. I remember asking my mom if I should write down Chinese or American on the German visa application, as a part of me still questioned where I was really from. At the Frankfurt International School, I was surrounded by students from many countries and introduced to cultures I hadn't known existed. In Frankfurt, I learned to be comfortable with navigating urban landscapes, and I felt like I was part of a great mosaic. But even in this cosmopolitan setting, people ask the same question: where are you actually from? Implying I must not originally be from America. The more this happened, the more I wondered if I should make it easier for them and say I was born in China, even though I no longer have a connection to it. When I was 14, my parents decided it would be fulfilling to travel back to where I was born. I had little interest at the time, but I sensed this was significant to my parents, so I agreed to go. Before me was a tall, white-painted brick building in Eben, China. It felt empty and unwelcoming. I did not feel any emotional connection, but this was supposedly where I came from. At this orphanage, we had tea with the director and his assistant, who was previously my nanny. We started to understand a different picture of where I came from. They told us the orphanage had moved, and this white brick building wasn't where I spent the first 15 months of my life in. I was also not born in Eben, as my parents previously thought. Instead, I was brought to the orphanage from a distant mountainous village inhabited by an ethnic minority called the Miao. My physical features and tall stature better resemble the Miao than that of the Chinese Han majority. We came looking for answers, but we returned with more questions. After 4 years abroad in Europe, I returned to Vermont to discover more confusion over my identity. Friends entered my name on their phones with German flags and introduced me as my friend Sally from Germany. It was pointless to argue otherwise, and this was a new piece added to the mosaic of my identity. To this day, people ask where I'm from based on my external appearance. I recognize this is how people initially try to understand me, but soon they realize all my experiences shaped me. It's an ongoing process. Because I lived in Germany, I find comfort within myself and appreciate differences in others. Because I live in Vermont, I call myself a Vermonter despite my differences, and because I was born in a mountainous village in China, I know that there is still a lot about myself to discover. Thank you.
Zach, and I'm a four-year senior from Suffield, Connecticut. Before I get too far into my speech, I would like to thank a few people for making my time here so special. First, I would like to thank my family, and especially my parents, not least for making it possible for me to come to Suffield and being so supportive for all 4 years. I would also like to thank my coaches. Mr. Warren, I know that on the soccer field I'm not always the easiest to coach, but I always appreciate your enthusiasm and love for the game. I'm sorry we never got our senior season. I think that it would have been one for the history books. Also, just remember, you'll never walk alone. Mr. Lowe, I also appreciate your love for the sport and incredible technical feedback. I will never understand how you organized the trips to Florida and Bermuda and never left anyone behind. Those early morning practices when the sun wasn't up weren't always fun, but your Pandora 70s and 80s playlist seemed to make practice more endurable. Also, being my advisor, I am forever indebted to your help in the college process, as well as Mrs. Sabatelli. Obviously, there are many more people I'd like to thank, like my teachers and friends, and also the other staff who make Suffield such a great place to be. The video that I'm about to show displays my years of memories from my family's annual trip to Nags Head, North Carolina and the Outer Banks. These trips represent a key influence in my youth, stressing the importance of family relationships, nuclear and extended. In a typical summer, my mom's side of the family all make the trip down to the beach, and everyone spends about a week enjoying time together, which we otherwise would not get, because all of my relatives are scattered across the East Coast. The time we have together is often spent swimming, boogie boarding, surfing, kayaking, or even fishing, so there's never a dull moment. At night, after a long day on the beach, we all gather at one family's house for dinner. The food is always great, often highlighted by my Aunt Jessie's Greek chicken and fresh crabs. When the dinners end, the night is filled with card games, Monopoly, and we sometimes go into town for mini golf or go-karting. With that all being said, the following video shows some of my favorite memories from the beach.
Everyone, anyone who wants look at you, oh, I feel my heart, oh, I feel real love deep inside. Oh, love, natural, I can't believe how you do to me. You make me feel, oh, how you say, feel so special. Oh, love, natural, I can't believe how you do to me. You make me feel, oh, how you say, feel so special. Let me tell you something, oh, something you may not believe, yeah. Oh, let me talk about this feeling inside that's happening to me. Oh, oh yeah, it's almost our time. The moment's coming up, the moment to get closer, the moment's almost here. Life is upon us, and the time for love is here right now. When I look at you, oh, I feel my heart, oh, I feel real love deep inside. Oh, love, natural, I can't believe how you do to me. You make me feel, oh, how you say, feel so special. Oh, love, natural, I can't believe how you do to me. You make me feel, oh, how you say, feel so special. Oh, love, natural, I can't believe how you do to me. You make me feel, oh, how you say, feel so special. All the way, yeah, we're moving on. Gonna find our love today. Let love go on and on. And we're climbing all the way to the top of the highest mountain, flying through the skies we've never seen before. And we're diving to the depths of the deepest ocean, sailing on the seas we never.
Hello, Suffield. My name is Sarah Kurbanov, and I'm a four-year senior freshman at heart from Longmeadow, Massachusetts. As a generally anxious person, I am very familiar with the difficulty of admitting when I'm out of my depth to myself and especially to others. As a child, I would never ask for help for anything. Almost all struggles were silent because I was too headstrong to realize that trying to do everything myself is foolish. A pretty embarrassing story that illustrates this well occurred when I was probably about 5 or 6 years old. In the Jewish tradition, for the holiday of Passover, we have a dinner with relatives and friends called a Seder. Anyone who has ever been to one can tell you that they are generally very boring and long and full of prayers and wait for food. At one of these Seders, at the home of my father's work colleague, my bored mind began to wander as a child is apt to do. For context, we were sitting on these hard wooden chairs with an oval hole cut out in the backrest. As I was sitting there, I inspected the hole and just had to know if I could fit my head through it. You can imagine where this is going. I moved in. Success! I was through. It was then that I realized the inevitable outcome of the situation. The top of my body refused to be brought back from its venture into the unknown. The situation felt hopelessly irreversible, and all the while the adults droned on, completely oblivious to the peril occurring below the edge of the white tablecloth. Silently, I struggled, refusing to let up or to call for assistance. Eventually, I caught the attention of my mother. Not long after, the whole table was involved in my predicament. My dad helped me out after some uncomfortable twisting and turning, like a child corkscrew, but not before I had thoroughly embarrassed myself in front of everyone. We were invited to no more Passover Seders following that incident. This is one of those traumatically embarrassing childhood memories that stays with you forever. And you would think that I would have learned to discreetly ask for help before making a fool of myself, as I did in this situation. However, I am obviously still in the process of learning my lesson. Another more recent example of my inability to ask for help occurred at last year's TA day retreat to Springfield College. There was one particular activity we did involving a maze made out of ropes, which, spoiler alert, didn't have an exit. We were blindfolded and told to ask for guidance if needed. Most people would ask if they should go left or right a couple of times and then finally give up and ask for assistance. The trick was to say the specific words, "I need help," and you would be let out from under the rope. I was the last person to ask for help, and I only did it when I realized the area around me was suspiciously quiet. This was yet another embarrassing incident that should have taught me to ask for assistance when I needed it. However, it is not an easy lesson to learn. The point of me telling you these super embarrassing stories was to illustrate to anyone who hasn't had as rude of an awakening that asking for help does not make you weak or inadequate. It will only help you down the line.
For example, if you are a freshman and you are watching this right now, please go to extra help with your teachers if you need it. It will only gain you respect and alleviate your stress. That is one of the many things that I have learned during my time at Suffield and repeatedly. Thank you all.
Hi Suffield, my name is Bridget Laurie and I'm a four-year senior from Westfield, Massachusetts. Throughout my time at Suffield, I have grown a lot, both as a person and as a student. I am not the same person I was when I arrived at Suffield Academy for my freshman year in the fall of 2017. I'd like to share with you all a letter I recently wrote to my freshman self. In it, I'll highlight a few important things that would have helped me enjoy my Suffield experience even more, if that's possible. Dear Bridget, congratulations on your acceptance to Suffield. I am so proud of you for accomplishing your goal. Your hard work has paid off in getting accepted, but now the real work starts. You'll be exposed to so many great people from so many different cultures. You will also share in experiences that will shape your life and remain with you forever. Take advantage of every opportunity that comes your way. To help navigate some of the stormy seas that come with being a high schooler, I'd like to provide you with some words of wisdom that will be helpful throughout your journey. Asking for help is a sign of strength, not a sign of weakness. It will take courage to seek out your teachers for help the first time, but only that first time. Your teachers are there for you and care about your learning. They want you to succeed. They like to see that you care as well. Getting to know the faculty outside the classroom will also help build positive relationships. I know you're struggling with Spanish, but Ms. Leahy is extremely supportive and may even end up as a future advisor. I promise you that physics isn't that scary. You will get through it. And remember what Mr. Godin used to tell your dad, and eventually you, about homework. It's never fully finished. There are counselors for help outside the academic setting. Use them. Life can be overwhelming at times. You'll be learning new skills, time management, organization, and study habits. It's acceptable and okay to talk about your mental health. It's hard to effectively learn if you are stressed. The Counseling Center is a great place to relieve that stress. Self-advocacy is not just for getting better grades, but also for creating a better quality of life. The morning car rides with mom and dad can also be a nice sanctuary. Take in life's lessons and advice they have to offer because you will soon be driving to school by yourself. Step outside your comfort zone. You never know what you can accomplish. I know you will love Suffield and your passion for being a tagger will be infectious. You may not believe this, but you will take the leap to become a tour guide, a mentor, and even a teaching assistant. I know you might not think these positions are possible, but I can reassure you that it will be one of your favorite things to do on campus. In these experiences, I have gained leadership skills, built confidence in myself, and improved my communication skills. There's also a satisfaction in giving back and providing guidance to others. Challenge yourself in all areas, from academics to co-curriculars. There are life lessons to be learned every stop of the way. Your friendships at Suffield will be life-changing and lifelong. Your friends and teachers you meet at Suffield will stay with you forever. Not because of social media, but because this is the time of your life where you'll be going through so much change and they will be with you through it all. Again, this time can be challenging, but going through it with the guiding hand of a caring advisor, the listening ear of a counselor, or the support of a close friend will create lasting memories. Your freshman friends are some of your closest and dearest friends now, but each year as new members of your class are added, your circle of friends will change and grow, creating some amazing lifelong friendships. Be engaging and make friendships in all grades, boarding and day, domestic and international. Your life will be richer through these interactions. Take advantage of all that Suffield has to offer. Someday you'll be in my position looking back at your Suffield experience. Don't miss out on any opportunity that has been gifted to you. Suffield life is what you make of it. Experience everything. Play a sport you've never played before. If you don't want to be on the stage, volunteer at the concession stand. Walk out to the solo barn and go on the ropes course. Join in the weekend activities and show some school spirit. Try a yoga class. Take in as many subsets as possible. Be kind, always. Above all, be kind to people. You are in a very beautiful and special place. Help keep it that way by treating others the way you'd like to be treated. Make it a point to check in with people when they're doing well, but also when they're not doing so well. Greet people by their name, it will make them feel good, but if you don't know their name, be sure to smile. Sit with new people, especially if they're sitting alone, and remember the school's values instilled to us by Mr. Can, to be kind to others as well as yourself. When I think of Suffield, I think of a warm place. Be genuine and true to others and true to yourself, and you too will leave this place better than the way you found it. Oh, and one last thing, your chapel speech isn't that scary. You'll get through it, I promise. Love, Bridget. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Megan Swanson and I'm a four-year senior from Tolland, Connecticut. I am a firm believer that the places we spend our time help to shape us into the people we are meant to be. My time so far at Suffield has been a period of significant growth in many aspects of my life. I have learned from some of the most impactful and inspirational teachers, and I have met some of the most kind and genuine friends. Though these people and the moments I spent with them mean a great deal to me, I want to use this time for something different. Today, I want to tell you about another formative place in my life, Quechee, Vermont. It is a story of fate, weekend getaways, and friends that feel like family. The Swanson-Quechee love story began in 1988. That year, my mom's best friend invited her to compete in a member guest tournament at the golf course her family belonged to. Just weeks later, someone my dad was working with invited him to play a round of golf at that same course. The course, as you might guess, was located in Quechee, Vermont. 4 years after that, my parents met each other. It took their marriage, 3 more years, and 1 New England road trip before they discovered that they shared the same favorite place. That little Vermont town where they both visited years before was forever ingrained in the backs of their minds. It wasn't long before they were closing the deal on a fixer-upper condo there. The condo wasn't large, but it would prove to hold valuable memories for years to come. I took my first car ride from Tolland to Quechee when I was just 3 weeks old. Nearly every weekend of my early childhood, I took that same trip. It was our kitchen packed with bags, early pickups from school on Friday afternoons, movies in the back of the car, and cheese pizza when we finally arrived. It didn't matter what season it was, Quechee always had an adventure in store for us. If it was snowy, we spent the weekend skiing, sledding, and warming up with hot chocolate in the base lodge. If it was sunny, we lounged at the lake or the pool. Within the 2-mile radius of the town, I learned how to swim, ski, and golf. Our weekends were the same, but they never got old. They were vacation and home all at once. As my sister and I grew up, basketball games and gymnastics meets began to take over our weekends. Our trips to Vermont became shorter and less frequent. Though I missed being in Vermont every weekend, I found that absence made the time we had there more exciting. When our schedules allowed room for a quick trip to Vermont, my family wanted to make up for everything we missed. As we changed, Quechee grew with us. We branched out and took day trips to nearby towns to ski at bigger mountains and to explore hidden watering holes. We bought and sold condos until we found one that finally felt like home. Through it all, my favorite aspect of Quechee remained constant. The town itself is beautiful and filled with opportunity, but I have discovered that the people in Quechee are what make it extraordinary. For my family, sharing our piece of Vermont with the people we love has always been a priority. It is even more rewarding when they love it as much as we do. Over the years, some of our closest friends from Connecticut and Massachusetts have invested in condos of their own. We all spend holidays, birthdays, and summers together. I have come to know them as my Quechee cousins. I am not related to any of them, but I genuinely consider them my family. I have watched the younger kids grow up into teenagers and witnessed the ones I looked up to start families of their own. They are incredibly generous, real, and always down for spontaneous adventure. I aspire to be a little more like my Quechee family each day. This summer, I had the opportunity to work in Quechee at the first summer camp I ever attended. As a Q Crew camp counselor, I met the youngest faces of the town. It was rewarding to share my love for Quechee with them and to watch them make memories and form friendships of their own. I hope they look back on them with the same sense of joy I do to my own childhood memories in Quechee. It is hard to put such an influential place into words. For my family, Quechee has been a second home, a welcoming community, and an escape from the rush of our daily lives. It is part of who I am and who I am becoming. I am forever grateful to my parents for introducing me to such a beautiful place, and to Quechee for the people I have met there and the lessons it taught me along the way. I don't know what the rest of my life will look like, but I'm confident that Quechee will always be part of my journey. Here's a quick video highlighting my favorite Quechee memories. Thank you.
Can you take me back when we were just kids who weren't scared of getting older? 'Cause no one knows you like they know you, and no one probably ever will. You can grow up, make new ones, but the truth is that we grow up, then wish we could go back then. There's nothing like old friends, 'cause you can't make old friends.